You know, when you are like walking through a mall or maybe an airport and you see one of those massive video walls?
Oh yeah, the ones where the screens are mounted at just these totally wild, chaotic angles.
Right. But the video still flows across them totally seamlessly.
It looks completely gravity-defying, really. You are looking at standard rectangular TVs, but they are tilted at crazy angles, and yet the image isn't distorted or broken at all.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's unpack this because today we are looking at the exact hidden hardware that actually pulls off this optical illusion.
We have got a spec sheet here from HDTV Supply for a very specific commercial video wall rotation processor.
Yep, the A-Neuvideo ANI-HDROTATE. And our mission for this deep dive is to decode the actual mechanics behind these digital canvases. You see them every day.
So the core of this magic lies in a feature literally called rotation mode. I mean, this processor takes a standard 1080p high-definition video feed, and it can rotate it in exact 1-degree increments.
Wait, 1-degree increments? That sounds simple, but mathematically, rotating a digital grid is kind of a nightmare, isn't it?
Oh, it absolutely is a nightmare.
Because when you tilt a grid of square pixels by, say, 37 degrees, the original pixels do not perfectly align with the physical pixels on the monitor anymore. Like, it is not just freely spinning a physical photograph with 2 fingers.
Exactly. What's fascinating here is how the hardware handles that exact misalignment.
Right.
The processor has to instantly run these complex anti-aliasing algorithms. It blends the colors of adjacent pixels to basically prevent the edges of shapes from looking like, jagged staircases.
Oh, wow. So it is literally redrawing the entire high-definition image onto a newly angled grid.
Yes, and doing it 60 times a second.
That is intense. And looking at the spec sheet, it says it does this with a video latency of just 1 to 2 frames.
Right.
So we are talking roughly, 16 to 33 milliseconds?
Yeah, and to human visual perception, that is virtually zero delay.
That's crazy.
Because if it took any longer to calculate that complex math, the seamless flow across the tilted screens would stutter. The illusion of a single continuous window would just instantly break.
Okay, so that perfectly explains how one box handles one twisted screen, but these walls usually have dozens of displays, right?
Oh yeah, massive installations.
Are installers really out there calculating the exact geometric overlap for every single monitor by hand?
Well, no, not anymore. You just daisy chain multiple processors together.
Oh, using standard HDMI splitters or matrices?
Exactly. And instead of manually coding the geometry, you use PC software that gives you a what you see is what you get interface.
Oh, I love those. So it's totally visual.
Right. You literally just drag and drop representations of your screens onto a virtual canvas. You set their angles, and the software translates that visual layout into the pixel math we were just talking about.
I do have a hang-up here, though. Looking at the specs again, they are very clear that rotation mode is locked to 1080p resolution.
Yes, 1080p at 60 hertz.
Right. But if you are building a massive display for, like, a control room or a sports bar, stretching a single 1080p image across 20 screens is going to look incredibly blurry. Isn't a 1080p limit a huge bottleneck?
Well, you're assuming the 1080p signal is being stretched across the entire wall.
Wait, isn't it?
No, remember how the daisy chain works here? You are not stretching one single image. You have a dedicated processor feeding each individual screen.
Oh, wait, so if every single tilted screen gets its own dedicated 1080p feed, it's more like a mosaic.
Precisely. You are not diluting a single image. You are basically adding tiles.
Okay, that makes so much sense. So 10 screens actually mean 10 times the resolution.
Exactly. You are building a massive ultra-high-definition canvas out of these smaller, perfectly rotated building blocks.
That is actually a brilliant way to bypass the bandwidth limits of a single video cable.
It really is. And because the hardware to do this has become so streamlined, like you can get these units for $479, it fundamentally changes how commercial spaces are designed.
Right, the processing power doesn't get in the way of the artistic vision anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what does this all mean for you listening at home? Well, even if you are not out there building a command center, understanding this just kind of demystifies the digital world around you.
Oh, absolutely.
Those immersive displays are not magic. They are powered by real-time geometry and just really ingenious mosaic building.
And, it leaves you with an interesting question to chew on, too.
Oh, I like those. What is it?
Well, as this kind of AV processing becomes even cheaper and more accessible, what actually happens to traditional architecture?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Right. When literally any physical surface at any angle can seamlessly become a fluid digital canvas, A wall is really no longer just a wall.
That is a wild thought. It definitely makes you look differently at those chaotic screens at the mall. They aren't just thrown up there, they are exactingly placed windows into a digital world.